We're going out on video chat now. Former Rough Rider, Red Black, and Indy Colt Jonathan Newsome joins us. He just signed a new deal with the BC Lions. They tell me he's in Ottawa today. Good afternoon, News. How are you?
What's up, Rob? How you doing, brother? I'm just living the dream out here, bro.
Never, ever worry. I think of you
Never,
so often.
ever.
And we'll get to that in a second. But congrats on the new deal with the BC Lions, by the way. How does it feel to get that out of the way?
It's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing just to be able to keep playing professional at this time, where guys are always coming in. So, they want to replace you as soon as you get in the door with football. And for me to keep on playing, I always give thanks to that. It was just a good situation out there in BC. And they're going to let me be a pass rusher, do what I do. And, I'm looking forward to getting the full season as a starter under me and doing everything that I'm capable of doing in this league.
Well, that's a lot. And if you don't mind, let's introduce you to our viewers that may not know you as well as I do. Since you came to Canada from the Colts, take us through what it's been.
Man, it's been a journey, man. Just coming to Canada in general, you learn a lot about yourself. Just coming to a new country that I probably would have never experienced had I came to this, had I not came to the CFL. But I came up here off of emotion, honestly. I had no idea about the CFL, prior to coming to Saskatchewan. I had a couple of tryouts after I got released from the Colts, and I realized that teams were kind of like moving past me, looking past me. And I felt like I had did enough in the NFL to get another shot, but I needed to show them that I can come up here and, make a difference in the CFL, and they would come back up here and, get me eventually. But, things have, happened to me where I came in and played for Saskatchewan, played good, in a rotational situation with other DNs, and wasn't able to really put up the stats that I wanted to. So, just been on a roller coaster up here, man. Ended up going to Ottawa after I got released in Saskatchewan. That was a situation, totally emotional on both ends, I believe. But I think everybody's past that. Things have happened in the past where, guys, get released and picked up all the time in this league. The turnaround is crazy in this league. Guys play for almost every team. If you end up playing a long career up here, you will end up playing for every team in the CFL. So, got to Ottawa, had a rebirth, honestly. I had suffered an injury in my last game in Saskatchewan. So I had to sit out for like 6 games when I first got to Ottawa. And when I finally got on the field, we had the game-winning pick. We made a difference immediately in Ottawa. And I, signed a contract extension with them, thinking that, things would get better. But, then we had a change of coaching staff, and the philosophies on defense changed. And that's another thing that happened to a player in the league. Coaches have their players that fit their systems, and some players just don't fit others. And you can get caught up in that kind of rapture. And next thing you know, I was released again. And I can't understand why I kept getting released, because I've always put consistent football film on, good football on film. And I don't know, man. It's just crazy how I keep ending up, going through these same situations. But it's been a lot of growth, man. I became a father, all in coming up here. I got married, had 2 beautiful children. It's a lot of blessings that come with this career. It's like a lot of life trials and tribulations. So football really does compare to life in so many different categories, where I know people, you look at us like, we're just not normal, but it's very normal in a sense when you put it all in perspective. So, that's where never ever worry comes from.
Yeah, it's normal to you because you don't know anything else. I think anybody outside the game would think it's crazy, but football is a microcosm of life, and that's one of the reasons we love it so much. Brady Witt in Saskatoon is watching. He writes in and he says, congrats, Jonathan, obviously on the new deal. What was your favorite part about playing in Saskatchewan?
Oh, definitely the fans, man. That was crazy just coming to Canada and being able to experience the fans of Saskatchewan, because from that point, it was no different than being in the NFL. Like, you guys, top of the line, crazy, crazy fans, and I was happy to make an impact in the community. I really did love Regina. As people don't always say good things like as far as like living there, but I thought it was a great situation. It's very chill and pretty much a good environment to raise a family. I met a lot of good people while I was there, riding mommy, and just a lot of good fans, man. I would have to go down a long list of people's names and just shout out to all of them that still support me. Saskatchewan is a family forever. Once you're a part of it, they treat you like that no matter where you go. From there, from here on out, you're always family in Saskatchewan. So I appreciate the fans for sure.
Once a rider, always a rider. That's the one thing I never understood about people jaw-jacking Saskatchewan, Rough Riders. I'm like, did you come here to sightsee or did you come here to play football? It's as good of a football environment as there is on the continent, Jonathan.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Definitely.
What do you like about BC, though, by the way, as you re-sign with the Lions? And we've had some Lions on here, by the way, and they're really excited about the resurgence under Rick Campbell. What do you like?
Well, Vancouver's beautiful. The scenery. Waking up every day, looking at the mountains, and kind of being behind in the Western, time. In that time frame, with being 3 hours behind over here. Instead, it's kind of like I don't know. It's just way more chill over on the West Side, and it's fun going to work, man. Just the weather's beautiful, man. The staff there, like the front office people, I really enjoy their honesty and Ed. Ed is it gave me a chance just after all the things that happened to me in Saskatchewan and all the things that happened to me in Ottawa. Both those times I got released when my wife was pregnant with our kids, and it was tough situations just having to be able to move across the country like that. And she had to stay in these situations by herself, and I got to give my wife a lot of credit for holding it down, throughout these, throughout this career up here, because it's a lot of moving pieces, man, and people don't understand like, to have to pick up and go like that, in those situations is hard. And with the whole situation with BC, they kind of just took care of me, man. They got me out there, and my good friend Duran from Duran Carter, he had a living situation for me, so I just moved in with him, and everything was kind of smooth, man. I just got over there and made an impact immediately, and they saw the type of player that I was from the jump, and I'm just excited, man, to get out there and really just become a all-star. Honestly, it's time for me to be all-star.
Hey, Jonathan, Taylor Shire from Global TV. Congrats on the new deal. When you talk about your road, I love how open you are about it. But when you think about it, how humbling was it, and how humbling was each time you got cut, and each time, or even the time when you first came up to Canada, how humbling was that for you? And then in part, how motivating was that for you to go on and prove yourself?
Well, humbling. I feel like, for me, it was just eye opening, as to how the business really is run. And I started to just look at myself. When you keep running in the same situation, you got to look at yourself first. And I started to just realize things about myself that I didn't even notice at first. Like I'm an emotional football player, and this is a game I've been playing since I was 9 years old. I gave up my life basically to play football at a young age. You can even look back at my school yearbooks. When they asked me what I wanted to be, I said I was going to be a football player. So this has been something that's been my life. This is all I know, and I had to learn how to separate my emotions from actual reality, because those things can lead to mental disorders, man. Like, I mean, it's deep, man. That's what I mean. Never ever worry is deep, honestly. It's all about the stress that you deal with in life. Stress is inevitable. We deal with it regardless. And there's good stress, and there's bad stress. There's chronic stress. There's acute stress. And acute stress is what the normal stress is basically. And our stress is basically our reaction, to a change. And there's always change in life. And those are our emotional, mental, and physical reactions to these things that happen to us. And being aware of the things that happen to us, and being aware of our emotions is huge, because we make decisions off of these things. And irrational or rational, whatever it be, you know, it's important that you know what you're doing. You know, it's important that you always understand what's going on and how you're approaching things and and life is basically, you know, all about how you respond. So I just tell people to not worry about things that you can't control. And there's a lot of incontrollables in life. There's a lot of incontrollables in football. You know, I can go out here and practice hard and hard and hard as I want to, but there's another guy doing the same thing. So the coach has to decide who plays, and that's out of my control. But
And
what I can do is put my best foot forward every day.
that's right. There's the one thing you can control, your attitude. And there's primary stress and secondary stress. And we could talk about this all day. Your brain doesn't function properly when it's under a massive amount of stress. But that's a topic for another time. But why did I ever get into this? Is it your Twitter handle, Never Ever Worry? Because when I'm stressed, I'm freaking out. Your face pops in my head. And I'm like, News says don't ever worry. And I calm myself down. Was that your Twitter handle? How did I get onto that?
Yeah. Honestly, I've been promoting this since they told me to come up with some type of brand for myself, and this all happened off of football. I thought about, like, I don't know my name. Everybody called me J New, so I just thought New, Never Ever Worry. That's exactly how it happened. And it just fit perfectly with my story, just how I just overcame so many things that a lot of people would fold. You know, a lot of people would lay down, a lot of people would quit. I've seen it happen. And, you know, it's just never give up, man. You know, your dreams can come true. I've seen it happen for myself. I've done it. You know, I've led a whole NFL team in sacks before. You know, like I played against some of the greatest players that ever played the game. Played with some of the greatest players that ever played the game. And I've been blessed to get this far. And so, and if you look at it, it's just like, wow, like it's nothing really to brag about. You know, on paper, talk to me. It's so much deeper than what you know. You know, and these players, every player has a story. You know, every player has their own like storybook. You know, situation that they got going on with them, and you just gotta look at it for what it is, man. And I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
Absolutely. Well, I learned that a very long time ago, that everybody has a story. Jonathan, we'll let you get back to your family. Thanks for this. It's great catching up with you, and we'll see you down the road here in 2020.
Appreciate you, Rod. Thanks for having me, bro.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.